All right, the program continues. Remember, we are live on Facebook and on our website. I'm seeing so many people commenting in regards to the discussion that we've just had in how schools should be reopening, whether they should or whether they should not reopen schools. I'm seeing so many people also saying that they're watching from different parts of the country. Some even watching from the United Arab Emirates. Thank you very much for keeping it KBC. Good morning, Kenya. Now, as we talk about entertainment and planning concerts, when someone wants to plan a concert, you will have to look for a band. You'll have to look for different instruments, a keyboardist, a pianist, a guitarist, a drummer. And it is all stressful when it comes to planning. And you would wish that you would play all these instruments alone. Well, this morning we have one man who can play 13 instruments at the same time. A one-man band. This morning I'm joined live from India by Gladson Peter. He is a musician, a one-man band, one person who plays 13 instruments all at the same time. Good morning. How is India? Hello, Gladson, can you hear me?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, I'm good. How is India?
India is really amazing. We're all trying to work things out and make things better for all of us.
You play 13 instruments. Can we just have, just name them? Which instruments do you play specifically, by name?
So everything is manually operated. I have a guitar. I have three different designs, okay? And the design I have with me today, I have a guitar, I have a harmonica, a kazoo, an entire drum kit, and a couple of instruments which is on my body.
Interesting. Can you play us a song? Play us one song.
First, you want me to play a song?
Yeah, a song. Just one.
All right. I'm gonna give you a little glimpse.
Okay.
सारा जहां देख लिया है कहे तेरे जैसा कोई नहीं है बस नहीं दुनिया है कहे तेरे जैसा कोई नहीं मैं गया जहां बस तेरी याद जो मेरे साथ को तेरा दिखता अपने भाई तेरी
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. That is Gladson Peter. Wow. And someone may wonder, how does he do that? Well, I was looking at your story and how you started. You had said that you've always wanted to be a drummer and or a pastor like your father. But now, just tell us about your musical journey. What has inspired your musical journey?
So like I said, I always wanted to be like my father. I wanted to be a pastor. Also, I wanted to be a musician, and I love bikes. So I wanted all these three things in my life together. And somehow things have turned out this way, and it is absolutely beautiful because I was in college, and by the time I reached my college, I was already playing about 30 to 40 musical instruments. And I went through a phase in my life where I encountered an illness which actually changed my life. So I went through pleural effusion, and I lost 60% of my lungs. So the doctors told me that I won't be able to actually play even a simple flute.
Mm.
But I trusted God, and God healed me. And after He healed me, I was again clueless what I wanted to do in life. That's when He showed me a picture of something which I had drawn when I was younger,
Mm.
uh, which had many musical instruments. So God actually spoke to me, and He said, "How about you take all these musical instruments, put them together, and play?"
And
And I was like, "Oh, maybe this is a joke. This is not possible." But God is amazing. God is great. He makes you into something absolutely amazing if you trust in Him. And yeah, I never knew that I would become a one-man band. But here I am. It's been 4 years. Um, it's been really, really amazing.
But I'm looking at all those instruments, and I'm wondering,
Yeah.
do they have a weight on your body? All those 13 instruments, all at the same time, because you are carrying all of them.
Yes. It's about the kit that I am wearing right now. If you, I'm going to turn around. So all of
Wow,
these instruments, this kit on me weighs about 17 kgs.
17.
Yes, that's right. And the other instruments that I have altogether,
Uh,
they weigh about 25 kilos.
all right. I'm also aware that you write songs.
Yeah.
So how far are you in terms of your composition of songs and producing them?
Yeah, so on the one man band, so I do not have any content online uh, of my original stuff. But during this pandemic, we are recording and making sure that all of my original songs are going to be out there. But yeah, I have a couple of songs, and maybe during the show, I will play one of my favorite songs, which people can sing at their homes also.
All right. I remember you said earlier that you wanted to be a drummer and maybe sometimes as a pastor like your dad, and you drew something and God gave you the image of what you drew when you were younger. At what point did this whole journey change from what you wanted? Because you said you drew something, and at that point in time, when you were wondering what would happen next, is when you decided to change. Tell us a bit about that point, because life growing up was challenging for you. There was some confusion that you were some state of quagmire where you are that you was mentioning earlier in terms of changing the direction of flow for your life. How was it growing up? The challenges you're facing.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say that it is. It's not. I'm not changing my line. I'm not changing my path. But I feel like my dreams kind of inclined with what God had already planned in my life. I did not know that. See, I already play guitar, keyboard, piano, drums, all these other instruments, and somewhere I also wanted to play a lot of musical instruments. I did not know that I will play them all together. So my point where I changed my entire journey of life was that time when I was completely hopeless. I did not know what is going to happen next in my life, and that is when God comes with this entire thing of how about Gladson you play all these instruments together, and I did not expect that at all. I still want to be a pastor. I still want to be a cool musician. I still want to be someone who has a super bike and all that. I want to be helping people through everything that I do. And the entire challenge in this was that I did not call for this disease. So pleural effusion is actually the precursor to tuberculosis, and I was affected because of passive smoking. You know,
Passive smoking.
passive smoking, and that was one of the main causes of my lungs to kind of crash down 60%. And the entire thing was that if I have to sit for even say 30 minutes, I have to lie down for more than 4 hours so my body can get a little bit of energy. And if I had one morsel of rice, I would throw up more than 3 times the same. And it was very difficult for me to breathe, like my life was so stuck that I couldn't do anything. I had to be very consciously breathing. So only 6 or 7 seconds once I would breathe. I would be like, take one deep breath, wait for next 6 or 7 seconds, then take another breath. So it was very difficult for me. So that was the most challenging part of my life. And still I had all my dreams, all these things which I wanted to do in my life. But yeah, I think it seemed completely impossible.
And
But during that time, I learned two things. During the time when I was completely challenged in my life, I learned two things. The first thing is that you should always trust God no matter what. We all go through problems, we all go through things, and mine might not be the best of all, or maybe the worst of all, but somehow uh, you have to learn to trust God. If I did not trust God at that time, which was obviously challenging for me, then I don't know where I would have been. I would just be yet another drummer, yet another pastor, yet another person who's just a musician. But I trusted God during that time, and God gave me something absolutely new. And the second thing that I learned during that phase is that no matter what, you never give up on your passion. My passion was to play music. My passion was to heal people's hearts through the little music that I play. So every instrument I touch, I always pray that God, when I play this instrument, I want somebody there to be healed or to be touched or inspired. So that has been my motto in my life.
and as
Somehow, when I trusted God,
uh,
I think God just amplified it and made it bigger.
wow,
So
wow.
that is how I'm so happy. It's almost like I'm not doing this only for me, but I'm representing my entire country because I'm the first and only in one-man band. So it's really amazing for me to. Uh, it's a privilege for me to be in this position.
Wow, wow, very inspiring indeed. You're saying there was a time when you had some lung infection because of passive smoking. But as you play the instruments, you normally use your lungs.
Yes.
How does that have an effect on you right now from how you were diagnosed earlier? Because of passive smoking. I remember you said that there was a time that you were in a state of hopelessness.
Yeah. So I would put it this way: when I was recovering, I did not know how well I would recover and how much strength I will regain in my body. But I can always testify that if I did not trust God, I would not be in this position. So I believe and I know for sure that God has been healing me from the time I was out of the hospital. So although I say I live on 40% of lungs, I'm very, very sure that the strength that I have on me right now is definitely not my strength, but God's strength. So it is difficult for a person who has 40% of lungs, who cannot breathe, to first blow into these musical instruments and then balance all of it and then think for maybe 10 people, 10 musical instruments, and all of these things together. But I always say that when I play these instruments, it's just God who gives me a different strength. So, yes, it is challenging. Yes, it is heavy. Yes, it gets a little difficult for me to keep playing continuously. But the result of it is to know that people are inspired, and I get a different joy doing this.
So I can say that based on what you're saying, I can deduce that when you feel like giving up, it is God who gives you the strength to continue.
Absolutely.
Can you
Sorry.
hear me? Hello, Peter? All right, we're speaking with
Yeah.
Peter, musician, a one-man band. I don't know if you can hear me. All right. Uh-huh. So, Peter, I would like you to play us a song. I saw you play one song that was quite interesting for me, Amazing Grace. I don't know, maybe you can try. There was a problem with the sound earlier. Let's see if it will be okay right now. Play us Amazing Grace.
Sure.
Yeah. The Amazing Grace, played by Gladson Peter, a one-man band. Wow, Gladson, I love your passion when it comes to music. When it comes to playing the instruments, all at the same time, you sing, play the instruments, compose your music. What are your future plans?
So I'm actually on to building my fourth design. I want to be able to make a design which actually makes my family proud, my nation proud, and above all, I want to testify that God can help me to do even more than I can imagine. I do not have a plan as such where I want to do this, that, because every time I've had a plan, I feel like God has had a plan which is maybe 100 times better than that. So for now, through everything that I'm experiencing, I just want to say that I want to make my nation proud. I want to make everybody around me proud and make sure that God gets all the credit.
Speaking of everybody, maybe I can get it from you. When you play instruments on the streets, I've seen so many people normally flock around you. What is the feedback they normally give to you?
Sorry?
When you play your instruments on the streets, I've seen so many people normally, come to listen to your music. What kind of feedback do you get from people, from family and friends and the general public who listen to your music as you sing and play at the same time?
Yeah, so in India we do not have the way of busking. So we do not have the trend of busking, or we cannot play on the street so easily. However, whenever I do get to play on the street, I do not use all of my instruments. I take maybe my harmonica, my guitar, or my ukulele, or something like that. And the first reaction is that no matter if it's a street or if it's a show, the first reaction is that people start to pinch themselves and ask themselves, like, hey, is this real? Like, are we seeing for real? Yeah, that is the first reaction. But by the end of the show, my point of a show, my point of a performance is always to leave the person inspired. So I always tell them that, I learned two things, which is trust God and never give up. So if you have a passion, if you have a problem, you need to trust God and you have to keep on working on your passion. And that is the story I lead. And every time I finish my show, I have few people coming up to me and telling them, hey, I have quit smoking. I have stopped doing things which are going to harm me, but I'm going to do something much better. So that is the entire reaction or the response which I get from people. That kind of makes me want to work harder and better and get better at this.
I love that. So at the end of the day, you're also inspiring other people also to look at themselves and check on their health, to quit smoking, and they speak to you. Now, let me touch on this. When you normally perform in the public glare or at events, what are the most memorable places that you performed and the feedback that you got was one that you can just not forget? The impact that you left on the people who are there and the impact that they left on you.
Yeah. There are two places. One is one is, I would say, the best for the elite. One is the best for the entire world.
Mm.
The first time I ever performed as a one-man band was as a special guest at the EU Day. Okay, it was a European Union Day. We were celebrating Europe Day in Taj Hotel in Mumbai, and I was a special guest. And they had asked me that maybe I cannot sing; I should just play an instrumental. But so I prepared one song which is "Heal the World," and I performed "Heal the World" as an instrumental. But when I was walking down, in front of me there was just presidents, prime ministers, the consulates, and all these amazing big officials from EU. And when I was walking down, they stopped me. They said, "We want one more performance. We want one more performance." And that is when I did not know what to do. But God told me that you play amazing bass. So I shared my story for the first time, and I played Amazing Grace. The second time I played Amazing Grace, the entire room of all the people over there, they started singing Amazing Grace. And I wear like fancy goggles on me, and I couldn't really see through, but I still remember I was tearing up. I was crying with joy because I saw so many people singing my favorite song, which is Amazing Grace. And that was one memorable moment. And the second memorable moment was in a village from a place called Bidar. Bidar is a town, is a city near my city. And we went to a village where you have to travel at least 6 hours to get there. And we performed to a very small group of people, but they had no access to the towns or cities. But as basic and simple that was, I still remember performing to them was the best thing ever in my life. So the first was EU and the second was this. Both are the
Wow,
most
wow.
memorable places.
I can say congratulations on that. But
Thank you.
now, moving forward, we are in a state that has affected the whole world, the coronavirus. How has this pandemic also affected you as a person? Even as we talk about your performances, yes, your music, but how has it affected you as a person?
Definitely, one of the things that I miss doing is traveling to different places. But on the contrary, I get to travel to Kenya through this. But yes, I would say that one of the most important things is for a musician, as a musician, you keep going to different places for shows, and that is your main income, and that is one of the things that is definitely affected. But that's completely, it's going to be covered up with all of this, and I believe that I get to do more. I get to make more videos and post them online. So yet another Amazing Grace will be out there and going viral.
And once this whole pandemic ends, you're planning to come to Kenya. I heard you mention something like that earlier.
Sure, definitely. For everyone who's watching there, please call me to Kenya. I will come there and play something in the local language for sure.
Which language?
I speak Tamil. That's my mother tongue. But in India, we speak Hindi, which is most of the time. The first song that I sang today, it is Vande Mataram by the very respected A.R. Rahman, and that's a Hindi song.
Now, when you normally plan your events, how do you go through it? Because for most people, I remember mentioning this earlier, most people normally incur the cost of hiring a drummer, hiring a pianist or a guitarist, hiring these different instruments. Now, for you, I'm really interested in finding out how are your events, well, before this COVID-19 came through, how are they planned and how are you going through you organizing your own events?
So it's mostly on invitation. So yeah, of course, you do not have to hire the entire band. You just have to hire me. And yeah, I have all my instruments packed and we fly through anywhere. It's completely compact. My design is compact and we are good to travel.
All right, and how can people find you on social media so that people can be able to, send feedback to you?
So definitely, that'll be amazing. I am on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and my common handle is at the rate One Man Band India, and that is how you can find me on all my social media. My Facebook page is Gladson Peter One Man Band. I have my YouTube channel where I also post a lot of one man band videos. My Instagram is very active, so if you have not followed me on Instagram, that is the first thing you got to do. You have to follow me on Instagram and at One Man Band India. Okay, and yeah, definitely, I would love to hear a lot of DMs, a lot of messages from Kenya and all over the world.
All right, and final question, because of the interest of time. They normally say that well, men cannot multitask, but you are here to challenge that idea. You play all instruments at the same time. But anyway, moving on. What is your take on the future of music, especially in your own country, in India as a whole? Do you see new dynamics coming into play?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
What is your take in terms of the future of music? How music is growing, especially in your country? Do you see new dynamics coming into play that will revolutionize music? Because your way of playing instruments and your way of doing can actually change the whole perspective of things. How is your take in terms of the future of music in your own country and generally as a whole?
So the current situation is such that Bollywood, if you know Bollywood, Bollywood is the most popular thing
Yes.
from into the world. But right now we have a lot of independent musicians like me who are out there who are writing really amazing songs, and the independent music scene is increasing. And I know that a lot of independent musicians are watching this stream, and on behalf of them, I want to thank the rest of the world along with India for sort of uplifting the independent music scene. It's very important for musicians like us to come up, and it's not just going to be Bollywood. It's going to be other music coming in. So in other music we have English, we have all the other regional music also coming in. And for me as a one man band, it's a completely new spectrum. And right now, right now I have been traveling to so many places, and it's definitely picking up. I'm an independent musician, but if I do get an opportunity in Bollywood, I will never say no. Music is definitely increasing, and I know that Indian music will go to the ends of the earth.
All right. Thank you very much for giving us your take this morning. Hope you're well. Stay safe. Keep social distancing. Sanitize during this COVID-19 virus. Thank you for finding time to join me this morning.
Thank you so much.